Good afternoon, and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I'm Razzle and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at some pitching for today, the 9th of October. It is Thursday. We do have the two-game NLDS slate ahead of us today. As I'm coming on to start recording, the Dodgers lineup just dropped. Little later recording than a normal. Some of it is waiting on the official word of the starting pitching in the Milwaukee-Chicago game. Some of it is also just personally feeling like trash today, but that does not matter. What matters is what we are here for, and that is to talk about these two games. Two elimination games. One team on the road trying to fight off elimination. One team still at home fighting off the elimination. One of the elimination teams with a pitcher who has struggled on the mound, and then the other one with somebody who has been their best pitcher, especially without Zach Wheeler. It's very interesting dynamic. Trying to figure out the props and understand, I guess, which route teams might go. Backs against the wall, we've seen it. Last night, Ranger Suarez came in after Aaron Nola. Ranger Suarez was the nut pitcher on the slate. For those members at DFS Army, they were aware that I was on Ranger Suarez a little bit. That I also was on a couple other relief / starting pitchers that were coming in. It was just trying to predict which route teams were going to try to go. The second highest pitcher was actually Troy Melton for the Tigers, so a starting pitcher turned reliever as well. Two of the three highest scoring pitchers were Detroit Tigers, with Casey Mize being third, so it's very interesting dynamic in the postseason, and that's where we're at today. This is still kind of a first look at everything. I am looking at DraftKings, as that is where majority of my action is. I think everything I talk about can be used on FanDuel at this point. We're not going to see, much for quality starts. None of the pitchers tonight have outs props that would lean towards a quality start. I guess Christopher Sanchez would probably be the closest. But to be honest, I think he has the most difficult matchup of the four pitchers. So, I guess let's just jump right into each game. Get an idea of where we're going to go. Philadelphia, LA. Sanchez, the aforementioned one, against Glass now. Sanchez's K-prop, or out prop, is sitting at 16.5, juiced slightly to the under. So probably a pretty good bet to finish 5 innings. With some upside for 6, I guess. I don't really know that they're going to push him that much, but it is kind of funny to see that of the 4 pitchers, he has the strongest outs prop, but, Philly is one of the two teams in a win or go home scenario. He actually looked really good in the first game against the Dodgers. 2 runs, not bad. 8 Ks in 5 2/3, 94 pitches, 2 runs or less in 6 of his last 7 starts. Just coming in as, what I consider the best pitcher on the slate tonight. I know Freddie Peralta is pretty solid as well, but he's pitching on the road. Slight difference in his home road splits, but they're not as extreme as the surface number gets to. But we'll get to that one when we get to that game. Sanchez, I think, has plenty of upside in the spot. 3 starts on the season now against the Dodgers, averaging 18 fantasy points per start. Strikeouts have been strong. Walks have been somewhat rare. The home runs being the main issue. 4 and 18 and a third. When on the season, he just allowed 12 and 207 innings. So the Dodgers definitely get to him with some power, but he has done a pretty good job. Now, he is pitching on the road where his numbers aren't as strong. K rate drops quite a bit. His whip jumps up as well. Home run rate stays about the same. Walk rate increases as well. So we're just expecting to see a few more base runners for the Dodgers tonight than like a normal Christopher Sanchez start. He's probably my second favorite pitcher on the slate, behind Freddie Peralta, but that's all right. I mean, if we get good Sanchez, like it both is going to help Philly have a chance to extend the series, and we're going to get the strong, probably number one scoring SP on the slate. On the other side, we get Tyler Glasnow. 1 2/3 in the first appearance. I believe that was in relief. I probably should have had this up before starting this video, but for some reason I feel like he came in relief in that game 1. Yeah, he followed Shohei. Excuse me, which I am a little shocked they aren't going Shohei. Especially then having like Blake Snell to rock a game 5. But I guess they probably do just want to keep him on normal rest rather than, his normal rest rather than a normal starting pitcher's rest. So, from my understanding is I don't believe that Shohei is in the bullpen for this game. But Glasnow, obviously super volatile, but he can be dominant, right? Like, I mean, that's a bad example against Colorado, but his best performance, Minnesota, Atlanta. He didn't have as many dominant performances this season as we've seen in the past, but he has big-time K upside. He has volatility in the walks department. Generally doesn't give up too many home runs. So it is interesting. He did make one start against Philadelphia during the season, and it did not go well at all. He was in Philadelphia, 5 runs, 5 walks in 2 innings at the beginning of the season. So it's tough to trust those early season starts for things to use as actionable. But 5 walks, 5 runs in that doesn't lead us to be super confident. Now, he is pitching at home, where his best numbers have been all season. 80 strikeouts in 61 2/3 innings. His walk rate is much lower at home. His home runs allowed rate does jump up, 8 of them in 11 starts, but still, he's a lot more comfortable pitching on this mound in this park in front of this crowd than he would be on the road. Big worry here is odds prop sitting at 14.5, but it's juiced strongly to the over. I thought that was high when I first saw it, but people are definitely on the 5-inning bandwagon for Glasnow. I will tell you that if we get 5 innings out of Glasnow, or 5 to 6 innings, I would say 90% sure that makes him the number one scoring SP on the slate, if we can get that kind of length out of him. For the Dodgers, I was thinking that Glasnow might be a 3-inning guy, and I was trying to figure out how they were going to piggyback and make things work. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the roster yet to get it official, but I guess Robleski was terrible against the Phillies. Hasn't pitched at all, so I'm not sure that he is on the roster. Sheehan is somebody that stands out to me. Threw 27 pitches in 2 innings 3 days ago in this series. He's somebody that we've seen piggyback with Ohtani. We've seen him, start on his own and be absolutely dominant down the stretch. This is a guy that I think they can turn to for a long relief appearance if Glasnow struggles in the first few innings with walks, etc. I think Sheehan becomes somebody that's super valuable to the Dodgers, because then they get Ohtani and Snell for Game 5 in some capacity. So I think Sheehan is that guy if they're going to piece together an inning by inning appearance combination. Like I mentioned, Kershaw just took the bullet last night, allowing some more runs. Robleski I have to look into and see if he is on the roster because he's another one that obviously could. But I do think it's Glasnow, Sheehan to find a way to get the Dodgers, through 6 innings or so. It could be Glasnow by himself and then Sheehan's not needed, but I do think there's a possibility that Sheehan pulls a, Ranger Suarez or Troy Melton type scenario going 3 to 4 innings and could end up being the SP2 on the slate when all's said and done. Switching over to the Milwaukee-Chicago game, Matthew Boyd struggled Game 1 mightily, but there were some errors in that inning. But he obviously was allowing base runners too, so not the best of scenarios. It's just not good against the Brewers all season in 3 appearances now. Just six strikeouts, 9 walks in 11 innings. It's just not great. He's far better when at home where he's at this evening, so that is a plus for him. But to me, he has the worst matchup on the slate, and it bears in his prop numbers. His outs prop at 9.5 is slightly on the over, but it's very close to being a pick'em, which means we're looking at like a 3 and pitching into the 4th as the most likely outcome. So it's really tough to want to use Boyd at all. Maybe we can sprinkle him in, but man, even if I'm doing 150, I just don't have a desire to fire, 10 lineups at Matthew Boyd, which feels weird. And right now, my initial feeling is like I'd rather have those 10 lineups be like Emmett Sheehan, which, it probably shouldn't be the case, but that's my current feeling. When you're looking at the rest of the Cubs, Soroka followed Boyd, but was terrible in that Game 1. I'm not sure if Assad is on the roster. I'll have to dig into again. But somebody like Assad, Savali was really strong in that opener. So I guess he would be the one that I think follows Boyd if they get in trouble early. He was successful in that matchup. So he's probably somebody I'm going to mark down as the guy that we might want out of the bullpen. Colin Ray, but he just threw 60 pitches 3 days ago. He's least likely to do it. Ben Round, I believe, is on the roster. Pitched in that Game 1. Pitched pretty solidly as well. So we could see something similar. Boyd, Savali, Ben Brown as options. So I'm going to kind of think about those as the afternoon progresses and I build out my pool and work on my sheets for the members at TFS Army. Last one, Freddie Peralta, not much needs to be said. Normal rest. Struggled, gave up 2 solo home runs in Game 1, but a bunch of strikeouts were there. Walks were a little higher than you expect. His home road splits are there, but like his underlying numbers are still fine. His K numbers go down a little bit on the road. Home runs allowed go up. Walk rate goes up, but his hits allowed rate actually drops slightly. And his batting average against is the same. So a lot of his underlying numbers are very similar to his home numbers. So I don't think they're as extreme. Obviously, the ERA is twice of what it is when it's at home. But, a lot of people are just going to see that and automatically think. But when you look at these numbers, you see where the 2 struggles are in the home runs and walks. But yet the base hits lower, so that just means this combination. And there's a lot of volatility to that home run walk combination. And those can stabilize at any point. He is 5-2 in 9 career starts at Wrigley. I did look up that number yesterday. But there we have it. There's our first look at the pitching. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on. Get the alert anytime we drop videos here at TFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc. I will drop links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's R-A-Z, for 10% off monthly. And I will drop the link to the merch store. Check it out. Best of luck, everybody.